Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Lit in English. And this is a journey for us to gain a greater understanding of our inner self. So in that way, we can connect the inner world to the outer world and manifesting the life that we truly want. And I would like to thank you for joining us today, as well as for all of my friends that will view this presentation um, in the future. And because this is journey that can truly help us understand the answer of how to live a happy life, how to manifest and materialize inner peace. And in that way, we gain a greater understanding of the world around us. And I thank you for joining us on this journey. And today's presentation will be about the triangle of reality, which is the third uh, semantic reference system. So as many of us have already known in this journey, this is season 5. And in the previous 4 seasons, we have discussed in great detail of the 3 semantic reference system right after the 4 principle. And the importance of the 3 reference system is that it gives us a lens to look at the world, to find the very foundation of, of all things. And because the wise men have pointed out to us, everything is interconnected, whether it is your own self or it is the relationship that you have in life. Everything is literally interconnected. And by understanding the 3 reference system, we will be able to understand the interconnectedness of all. And in that way, we will live a happier life and we have a clearer view of the world. And thanks to that, we will know what we needed to do and what we need not to do. So just a preview before we move into the last semantic reference system, which is the semantic reference system. I would like to revisit the previous 2 semantic reference systems. The last week, we introduced the human structure. And the human structure is one of the greatest, if not the greatest knowledge out there, because it gives us a clear idea of what it meant to live as a human and what drive us, what are our human nature, and how can we elevate to an even higher understanding of ourselves. And as you can recall, the human life often um, involved in the desire to acquire prosperity or beauty or fame or eating or resting. Those are the desire that drive us. And because of that desire to reach a higher realization of happiness through our desire or through our greed and through the journey or the direction that we choose to go through our imagination, we are aiming toward prosperity, beauty, fame, eating, and resting. But the expert told us that, by looking at the outcome, the result of those who has acquired the 5 element of prosperity, beauty, fame, eating, and resting, we realize that they might not have the long-lasting happiness as they would desire. And in the story of Mr. David Joe that I shared last week, he was one of the few people who have acquired the very best of the five elements, which was prosperity, beauty, fame, eating, and resting. And because of such a success as in such an early age, and he has to deal with many problems in life where he feels lost, where he couldn't find further meaning to his life. And funny enough, there are many people in the world who have got to that level and they continue to search and they find a higher meaning, a life with more meaning, where they can serve others, where they can find their inner self and reach to that inner peace, and some might call it at peace, which is the inner mode of the human structure. As you can see, the will to hear, the will to see, the will to speak, and the will to know. And thanks to that, we gain a much greater understanding of what it meant to be human. And of course, there are many layers deeper to this. And this is why we require this journey so that slowly we can have a greater understanding. So one similar thing that I want to point out between the human structure with the root cause of life, which is the first semantic reference system, is the images which contain the knowing, saying, see, and hearing, which directly created the outcome that we want. All right. And as you can see, both of these share that similarity in the will to hear, the will to see, the will to speak, and the will to know. And that is the core foundation of the three semantic reference system. And today's presentation, the triangle of reality, will help us connect the first two semantic reference systems together. And in fact, the triangle of reality is so important that without it, we might not understand what was shared in the human structure and the root cause of life. All right. So let's get to it. Um, I would like to invite you to grab a piece of paper and draw alongside with me. All right. And then let's go ahead and write down the topic of today is the triangle of reality. The triangle angle of reality. And as the name suggested, let's just go ahead and draw a triangle right at the very middle, represent for the triangle of reality. So imagine that the triangle of reality is like a prism where when light shine through it, you can see the rainbow on the other side. All right, so the triangle of reality is a semantic reference system where it can help you understand the tangible world and the intangible world. So imagine that there is light. You light. So imagine there is white light shining down to the triangle prism. And what it does is that it will reflect out the rainbow. It's 7 colors. Just so we clear, let's try this light. All right. And this will generate the color of the rainbow. We have red, orange, yellow, blue, one, two, three, four, five, orange. Let's 2 more. So imagine that when you look at the sunlight, you wouldn't be able to see light for what it is. You can only see the scenery. So in a way, sunlight is in its immaterial form. You cannot see it for what it is, but through a prism, a triangle prism, it reflects light out and it its most basic form of color. Let's make it clear that this is a rainbow. So through the triangle of reality, through the triangle prism, the prism triangle, we are able to see the different fragment of light in the rainbow, 7 different color. So the triangle of reality can be used in that way. It helps us understand the tangible and the intangible, or we can call it the material and the immaterial. Through the triangle of reality, you will gain a greater understanding of the material world and the immaterial world. Now, what do I mean by that? Let's go back to the root cause of life. So most people can only see the outcome of everything that we do in life, or everything that, whether it was directly or indirectly, influence on us. And through the root cause of life, we can trace it all the way back to its intangible form, or its immaterial form. That is the images that we see in our mind through knowing, saying, seeing, and hearing. So in the case of Bill Gates, who created Microsoft, in the case of Jeff Bezos, who created Amazon, and in the case of Elon Musk, who has created Tesla, SpaceX, and many of his great company, it was all started with an image through knowing, saying, seeing, and hearing. But without the triangle of reality, they couldn't possibly share their images, or some may call it the vision. They might not be able to share their vision with everyone in the world, and they might not establish an understanding and materialize that vision. And in that way, the triangle of reality is that powerful because it helps us connect the immaterial world with the material world. And I would like to use the example that I had shared in the past about a book that I had read on the millionaire mindset. And in that book, what the authors were trying to do is that the author has his reality, and let's call it um, the material. He materialized his reality, which is being a millionaire, having multi-million dollar in his bank account, for example. So let's go ahead and write it on the bottom right, material. Material. All right, so he has already materialized his images of being a millionaire. And in that book, he said that in order for you to make $1 million, you have to be a millionaire first. And that sounds strange to some people like myself 15 years ago. But after reading the book, I realized that what the author is trying to say that in order to have the outcome, in order to have the result of being a millionaire, you have to have a certain character that a millionaire has. You have to have a certain habits of a million have. You have to have certain actions, certain thoughts, certain mindset in order to be a millionaire. And once you acquire all of that, including the images, which is the the end result that you truly want to materialize of being a millionaire, regardless of what kind of business adventure that you want to get into. So all of this are actually the information of how to become a millionaire. And you're gonna need the energy. You have to cultivate the energy of a millionaire through this information. And by having the right information, having the right energy of a millionaire, you will be able to materialize the outcome that you want. Okay. So beside material, we have up top here, which is energy. Energy. And of course, you would need information. Information. So the triangle of reality tell us that in order to have a reality that you want, you gotta have the information needed, you gotta have the energy needed. So how can we be a millionaire according to the millionaire mindset? We have a certain action, which is the information that millionaires often wake up early. They wake up at 4 a.m., 5 a.m., even like 4:30, pretty much earlier in the morning compared to many other people. They do some exercise, they do some meditation, and they get a lot of things done early in the morning. And through that action, through those habits, create their character. And with the right thought and the right mindset and the right images, they will be able to cultivating the energy. And this is the reason that when you interact with a millionaire, for example, You could feel their energy. They will feel like they have a lot of information that you can learn from. Similarly, if you were to study in the classroom, you can feel the energy of your teacher, and you will be able to learn from the teacher information, the way that your teacher dressed, the lesson that your teacher shared it with you. Or even, let's say, a homeless person, you will be able to feel the energy and gather the information of them. The triangle of reality help us understanding that, and it will help us able to accomplish the goal that we want. So let's revisit the human structure. So let's say that your goal, your short-term goal is prosperity, how to acquire more money, how to be more talented. Then, in order to materialize that reality, just like the rate of light can transform itself into a rainbow, you're going to have the energy of prosperity. You have to have the information of prosperity. Similarly, beauty, as you can probably see in famous singer or a famous movie star that you might have to know of. When they first started out their journey, they might not look very good, right? May not be very fashionable, but through that journey of being a superstar, they slowly cultivating the energy of a superstar. They started to get information from their acquaintances, from their co-worker. And eventually, when they become even more famous, you can feel that their energy is different, their information is different. And that is beauty. So the same goes for fame. How can one can be famous? And what about eating? And saying like how can you enjoy better food, similar to resting? All of it have its own energy, and all of it has its own information. But the most basic things of the triangle of reality is that it tells us that all things in this world, in this universe, that whether it has the material form or whether it has the immaterial form, all of it has the energy and all of it has the information that we can learn from. And once we know that, we can cultivate the outcome or we can materialize the outcome. So let's use this example. So this is a gold coin, and can you turn lead into gold, right? This is the question that many scientists of the past and even today's scientists are trying to solve. It's alchemy. How can I turn lead into gold? And through many try and error to many rigorous research, scientists was actually able to turn lead into gold. But because the energy needed to perform that outweigh the value of gold itself, they don't mass produce it. Okay, so it doesn't make sense to spend, let's say, $1,000 to make $10 worth of gold. But what that research proved to us is that with the right information, with the right amount of energy, lead can be turned into gold. And the researcher, the expert, they was able to do that because they study the material of lead and they study the material of gold. And from that, they have the information of lead and they have the information of gold. They have the energy of lead and they have the energy of gold. And they do their transmutation by changing the information and the energy. Lead was able to transform into gold, right? Why is it important for our story? It is extremely important because it if black can turn into gold as hard as that is, it was possible. So that means you can be whoever you want it to be. All of the outcome, all of the result that you desire, it is possible. All right. And this is a huge game changer. And if you can recall back to the very first presentation that we do each season about the six barriers, you will realize that the barrier of having a limited belief and the lack of future vision, that's stopping people from acquiring what they want. And the triangles of reality tell us that it is all possible. You only need to change the information, you only need to change the energy, and you will be able to materialize the outcome. Let's take Genghis Khan for an example. Genghis Khan had a pretty tough past, and he was struggling unifying his people, the Mongolian people, during his time. But one day he had a dream, and he truly believed that he was destined to conquer the world. Right. So from that split second, Genghis Khan has a strong belief in his destiny to conquer the world. So he was his images of that outcome was very clear. He knowing about it, he is saying about it, he's truly seeing the result of it, and he hearing how it's all played out. And he truly believed that the universe, God will conspire to help him conquer the world. And he did it. So that to show you that everything can happen very, very quickly. Once you have materialized the outcome, whether it in reality or whether it is in your inner mind, your inner world, when you see, even when you see a clear image of it, the outcome is almost certain. And this is the power of understanding your inner self, materialize peace or materialize happiness or materialize success, whatever you choose to call it, through the free reference, semantic reference system. You can choose the outcome that you want, but you have to align that with how you truly feel inside. And you have to hold on to that images, and you have to continuing to cultivate the energy and the information needed. And in the case of the great Genghis Khan, he hold on to that images. And in his journey, he cultivating the information needed, and he cultivating the energy needed. And he was able to conquer the world. Similarly, let's say you have the desire for knowledge and you know for certain that you can get there. Let's take researcher, for example. They let's say they truly believe in gravity back in the day, where they couldn't figure out how to prove it. But by hold on to that images, hold on to that belief, and try to find the proof of it, eventually they will be able to cultivate the energy needed and the information needed. It will come to them. And on a beautiful afternoon, an apple fall on top of Newton's head. And in that split moment, we realize all of the information we need to prove the law of gravity. That's the beauty of it. Okay. So through the triangle of reality, everything that we have shared from the beginning of our journey until today, we finally have a way to materialize it. Whether we can find someone who has the reality that we want and learn it from them, or if you have a great desire that no one have ever done it yet, in the case of Genghis Khan, for example, by holding on to the image of the outcome that you want and cultivating the energy and the information needed, you will be able to make it a reality. Okay? And I would like to take you back to the seven holistic wealth. All right. And the expert, the wise man, has show us that if we were to simplify all problems in life, they fit into only four categories. That is inner self, that is health, that is relationship, and that is finance. Okay? Through the triangle of reality, we will be able to figure out what is the material of a great understanding of the inner self, where is the energy of it, where is the material of it. And of course, we will share with you that in the future. What about health? How can one acquire great health? You will need the material of a great health, the energy of a great health, the energy, the information of great health, and you will be able to materialize it. What about relationship? Same thing. You will have the information, the energy, and the material of great relationship. What about finance, money, right? Prosperity. Similarly, in this journey, we will share with you the information, the energy, and the material how to be financially independent. And the seven holistic wealth tell us that in order to stand above problem when they arise, it is best that we lit up. All right, it is a lit in English. It is important that we lit up the light of wisdom, the light of presence, the light of nobility, the light of virtue, the light of capability, the light of physique, and the light of material. And that will be able to hold the house together very, very strongly. And now you have all three the semantic reference system in order to do that. Right? And in order to demonstrate with you the power of the triangle of reality, I would like to introduce you to the idea of capability. How can we acquire, or how can we lit up the candle of capability? And as you can see, if it's, you can recall, capability is very special because once you have a great understanding of your inner self, capability is an interconnectedness between relationship and finance. All right, does that make sense? Because with your capability, you will be able to help serve your community through the relationship that you have. And by serving, by offering value, you'll be able to earn money for your work. And it can be a much greater thing than that. All right. So I would like to invite you to grab another piece of paper And this is the triangle of capability. This time I would like you to draw a triangle in the middle, just like that. And of course, we have information on the bottom left. Information. And then we have the energy up top. And then we have the material on the bottom right area, which should be clear. We are speaking of capability. All right. But how can one live handle of capability? So to see it this way, let's look at the seven holistic wealth again. How can one show their capability? Isn't their capability, isn't one capability showed by the success that they had in life, right? Like one person capability showed by how successful they are with finance, how successful they are as relationship, how much value that they can accumulate. So in a way, capability here is very much related to a person's success in life. Success. And thanks to the expert and all of the wise men out there, we will show that in order to have success in life, we have to understand what success is, what capability is. So we have to under the notion of it. We have to understand the notion of success or the notion of capability. We have to have relationships, right? And that's going to be in the energy part. We got to have relation. And then profession is a material. Profession. All right. So why are these three elements can help you becoming successful? How can it demonstrate you as someone who is capable? So there are many notions to success, but one of the lessons that I have learned when I was 15 years old that still stuck with me until today is a notion of success that I have learned from one of my mentor. And she said something very interesting. She said that if other people can do it, then you can do it. And her success story started with observing her friend have a very successful with a retail store. So at that time, she hasn't done any businesses, but she realized that if her friend can do it, she can do it too. So from Da Nang, Vietnam, she traveled to Ho Chi Minh City or Saigon, and she start buying product from wholesaler. She brought it back to Da Nang and he start a retail shop. And because of her belief, she understand that if other people can do it, she can do it. And that is her notion of success. And thanks to that, she was very, very successful. Another story that I want to tell you is a story of my best friends when he first moved to Ho Chi Minh City or Saigon. He had some success in his company and he working very, very hard. And that guy was very smart. And on one of my trip back to Vietnam, I was spending time with him and he was complaining of how he worked really, really hard and he was really good at his job. But there was this one new guy who is a driver of his boss. Even though that new guy wasn't very good at the job, not as good as my friend was, but because he was the boss driver and he was the one who attended with the boss through all of these business meetings. And by business meeting, I want to tell you that in Vietnam, all business meetings going to happen in a restaurant or a place where you can like party and bring some alcohol, drink some beer, eat good food, and that's where some of the biggest contract happen. So that guy who was a driver take care of the boss and gain great relationship through his boss. And thanks to that, he was able to move up to the company very quickly because there was certain job that the boss couldn't send anybody else but him because he was there to conversate with the the partner, the business partner. So he was able to slowly taking up a very, very important role in that company. So through relationship, one can be very successful, and that definitely can show a person capability. And my friends, even though he was very smart and he worked really, really hard, he was only able to move up slowly. And eventually he quit that job. So the triangle of capability or the triangle of success, it tells us that in order to materialize your capability or your success, you have to have the notion of capability. You have to understand it. The story that I tell you, only a small part of it. When I said the notion of success, I mean the information of success, all of it. And when I talk about the energy of success or the energy of capability, which is relationship, there are many, many relationships in life that can get you to a place that you want to be. Okay. Because let's say the first story that I told you about my mentor, she was able to buy wholesale product from Saigon because he had good relationship. She know where to go and she know what to do through your relationship. And if you really think about this, everything in life that have, we have it because other people bring us that, whether it is opportunity or whether it is product, somebody has to bring it to you. We cannot acquire the result and material thing from the outer world without other people help. So relationship, it is a huge element in the form of energy that not too many people understand about. And those who understood relationship, they spend a great amount of time, a great deal of time to build relationship. They spend a great amount of time to study the information of success, the notion of success. And by cultivating the information and the energy, they will be able to materialize their profession. Okay. So if somebody start out with just a profession of a certain job, and they cling to that profession like my best friend did. What they did not understand is that they are holding on to the information and the energy of that profession at that point only. And if they just stop there, if they have limiting belief, if they don't have the future vision, and they were stuck there with the energy and the information of that very same profession, and that is their reality. They couldn't move up. But in the case of the the driver, he has his profession at first, who was just a driver, but he cultivating the energy from his boss and his business partner. He acquire the information from his boss and the business partner. He cultivating it through all of those meetings. And with the right information and the right energy, he was able to materialize a new profession. And because of that, he was more successful. And that is the power of the triangle of reality. The triangle of reality tell you why you have the reality that you have today. And furthermore, it tells you that what you need to do to move in toward the reality that you desire. So triangle of reality is kind of like the rainbow. There are many variety of it. The one thing that I want to make sure that I communicate with you is the triangle of reality through information, energy, and material. It is better to describe the material thing, material world. In the triangle of reality, we also have knowing, and we have to have believing, believing, and then we also have understanding. All right. Now, why is it important? This is important because we have just used the triangle of reality to understand the information of capability, the end, believing in the energy of capability, which is relationship. And then we have the understanding of the profession, as I just explained it to you, right? Because knowing the information, believing the energy, and understanding the material is what makes the difference between my best friend and the driver. And the driver, we are in this way, was able to cultivate the energy and the information on another word. He was able to cultivate his knowing of information. He was able to cultivate his believing in energy. And in this way, he was able to cultivate the knowing information of the notion of success. He was able to cultivate the believing in the energy of relationship or relation. And he was able to have the understanding of the material of his profession. And these are only a few things that the triangle of the reality can help us with. And through the triangle of reality, we have further understanding, further realization that we will share with each other in this journey. And thanks to the expert and the teacher and the mentor and now the wise man, we found out that the success of a person is dependent 40% on the notion of success. And it's depend 40% relation, and it's only dependent on 20% their profession, right? And we can see this clearly in the difference between my best friends and his co-worker who was the driver. Because even though the driver didn't have the profession that my friends had, he wasn't able to do as good as a job. But he understand the notion of success. He was understanding the importance of relationship. And because of that, is was 80%. It was 80 to 20, 4 to 1, the chance that the driver was destined to be more successful than my friend. And this gives us a very, very interesting understanding. Through this, we realize that the capability of wealth for the majority of a person, it is 80% about self-development and only 20% rely on profession development. Okay? Because 40% notion and 40% of relation, that will give you 80%. And this holds true for whether yourself or whether your company, there will be 80%. And let's call it people to development. Sure about the word right. And only 20% about possession development. Right? Both of these are PD, people development and professional development. But 80% of it determine your success in life. 80% of this determine your capability in life. The world is kind of doing it backward. People focus too much on the 20% because you have to go to school, you have to go to the job in training in order to develop your profession. Unfortunately, for most people, they didn't have the people skill. They didn't know how to be a leader, be a good leader. They didn't know how to develop themselves and the people around them to make their work more effective. And slowly, the great people in the world started to speak up. People like Elon Musk, people like Jeff Bezos. They understood this, and they are all about the people development. They are all about finding the right people with the right mindset. Training in profession development is easy. Okay? And understanding this, we see the importance of understanding the triangle of reality so that you can cultivate information and energy in order to materialize the result that you want. And in this way, please note that even the three semantic reference system can also fit into the triangle of reality. And the root formula where you have images is the root of all. When you have the right images, outcome is only the matter of time. It is certain. Just like the case of Bill Gates, the case of Jeff Bezos, the case of Elon Musk. So if we were to fit the three semantic reference system, we will have the root formula in the material side, the bottom right. So I have to write root formula. And the given structure where we learn about karma, about the total karma rate of knowledge, affinity, and result, and about the energy, the positive and the energy, the negative part of human nature, which form the energy in human relation in the human world overall. That is the form of energy. So let's go ahead and write the word human structure up top, representing the energy. Human structure. And last but not least, the information that we acquire through the triangle of reality. Triangle. Reality. And the importance of the triangle, the reality within the three semantic reference system is because the triangle of reality provides us the information, is provide us the knowing. Just like what we shared earlier about the key success to life, to cultivate one capability to the triangle angle of reality is help us understand that the information that you need to develop is people development. It's determined 80% of your success. It determines 80% of your capability. So instead of spending most of your time cultivating or investing on your profession development, which only hold 20% of success, you would want to cultivate in your people development. And this is the exact journey that we are going on. Lit up in English, so that you can lit up the seven holistic wealth, so you can gain great understanding of wealth and success to the triangle of reality. And as important, you have to understand human structure because it is a flow of energy. The human structure is how you can be in relationship. And when I talk about relationship, it is not just about relationship with other, but reality, relationship with oneself, relationship with yourself. So with the right information, with the right energy, you will be able to materialize the result that you want through the root formula life. By having the right information, having the right energy, you will have the right images. And this is the secret, everyone. It is not coincidence that you have a certain goal, certain dream in your mind, certain destiny that you can see. You have the image of the success that you have in mind because somewhere within you, you already have the right information. You already know the information. You already believe in the energy of that success. And because of that understanding of the material, you have a clear images of that reality. You have clear images of that outcome. And most importantly, your cultivation, okay, the entirety of the many lives that you have lived, or if you want to believe in science, it can be proven with the DNA, the information that you have somewhere deep within you. We have cultivated many images, many knowledges. If you were to go back to the circle of knowledge or the spiral of knowledge, we have accumulated many information and energy in your life. And through that, it is simple for us to use the triangle of reality to make the intangible tangible. In another word, making the immaterial into material. Just like the rainbow, just like the seven color rainbow, just like the seven holistic wealth that we will be able to see the images. We will know information, believing in the energy, and we will materialize the seven holistic wealth to have that holistic wealth, or you can call it holistic happiness. So I would like to thank you for joining us today. You know, I'm glad that we were able to do this. This marked the end of the three semantic reference system, but this is only beginning. From now on, we will use the seven semantic reference system to gain an even greater understanding of every element that we need to cultivate in order to build our success in life. With that, thank you for joining us today. For, for those who will watch this later, thank you for following us, and I hope to see you real soon. All right, bye-bye.